Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Pancadasi chapter 11 and we are looking at Brahmananda Yogananda. Verse number 3 we have to begin today. And yesterday we saw that what was the sadhana chatushtaya, what is the purpose, what is the goal, what is the purpose that this text was written, and what is the subject matter. And then it was told that in the second verse, I think it was told that second verse that there are three stages of the knowledge that takes place. First is the objective knowledge. The knowledge of the world takes place through two ways. Takes place in two ways, that is vritti vyapti and phala vyapti. And then second is when we are understood that it is how the knowledge of the world is taking place. Right now our understanding of knowledge taking place is what we are seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, and the thoughts forming. But we never go deeper than that. Going deeper than that, we come to realize there is a experiencer and the experienced, a knower and the known, and each one of them is an independent equation. They have got no connection with the next one, and in this way it was so the example taken was this is camera, I know this is camera, this is phalavyapti, this is the knowledge that is taking place. And then second thing it was told that the next stage, once we realize that there is no connection between one thought and the next, and this is recognized within yourself clearly, then the question comes, then who is observing this? Then we come to the Atma Jnanam. So we wean away ourselves away from the world, the worldly thoughts, the thoughts of the world, and come to recognize, come to see who is this person, who is the observer of all the thoughts that are coming and going of the objective world. And as a result, we come to the knowledge of the self, come to abide in the self. Once that takes place, that also is not the complete journey. Then, once we have recognized that this self, that I am, is independent of all the thoughts, or the body, the breath, the mind, intellect, it has got nothing to do with the self. All of them are dependent on the self. Without the self that I am, all these cannot function. When this is recognized, that what it leads to a state of meditation or samadhi, but that is also not the conclusion of the journey to self-realization. The last stage comes that this Atma itself is Paramatma. This Atma itself is Brahman, and that is brought about by the study of scriptures and wherein this Atma is not taken to be one per individual, it is taken as one without a second. Ekameva dvitiya nanasti kinchana kaschana. So it is one without a second. And yes, once scriptures tell us this, we may accept also, but there are still doubts left, isn't it? Okay, how can it be? I see all these as separate, But I see how can the self in here be the self in there, and the self in there, and the self in there? It seems almost an impossibility. Yes, it does seem almost an impossibility at this moment. Why? We are identified with the body. That is why. So as we go deeper and deeper, subtler and subtler, as our mind becomes quieter and quieter, automatically all this study that you do of Pancadasi or Upanishads, which conclude in Ekameva Dvitiya understanding, conclusion, that will automatically get clicked. But for that, you have to live a life where you do not live at the mercy of the body, you only use it. For that, regular meditation, regular contemplation is required. And why do we do all this? What is the purpose? Why is this whole journey from objective knowledge to knowledge of the self to recognizing that self is one without a second? What is the purpose? Shoka nivritti, sukha prapti. But this shoka, removal of bondage, removal of miseries, and for the gain of happiness. But this happiness is which happiness? That which never comes down to the level of misery. It is transcendental happiness, transcendental bliss. Happiness, opposite is sorrow or miseries. So that we are not talking about that happiness which comes about as a result of removal of miseries. No, this happiness which we are talking about, it is in spite of all the miseries and the happinesses. It is not because of anything. It is independent in its nature, and that is recognized as our own being. And in the one more student. So therefore, how do we come to this point? It comes in Bhagavatam also. Last week I was telling you about the gopis. So also here, instead of looking at the whole world while you are living on a daily basis, or even when you go into meditation, rather than looking at the world from an individual standpoint, make an attempt to see the world how the Lord will be seeing it. What is the view of the ocean towards all the waves? What is the view of Krishna towards the total world, in order so that without any pause, without any break, without any doubt, without any confusion, he was able to present the entire philosophy systematically and clearly to Arjuna. Only he can do it, no? Who has the total vision? You have the total vision of your body, you know exactly without any doubt that you will walk only by legs and you will eat only by hand. You will see only by ears. You have that clarity. You have total clarity about your house, which room to sleep, which room to go to toilet, which room to go and cook food, and which room to take shower, isn't it? Clarity is there. Exactly the same way. We may not understand what the vision of the Lord is, but because it cannot be understood, it has to be revealed. But we have to make ourselves available to that vision, and for that, continuously, on a daily basis, attempt, not only while living, but also in your daily meditations, to take the standpoint of from which the Lord must be functioning. Now, that brings us to the third verse. Now the teacher explains using Anvaya and Vyatirek methods. You can repeat after me. Pratishtham vindate swasmin, pratishtham vindate swasmin, yada syadatha sobhayaha, yada syadatha sobhayaha, kurute asmin antaram chet, kurute asmin antaram chet, atha tasya bhayam bhavet, atha tasya bhayam bhavet. When one is firmly established in one's essential blissful self, pratishtham vindate swasmin, yada syad atha so saha abhayaha, such a person, then when a person is established in his own essential nature, then there is what do you call, saha abhayaha, he becomes fearless. Then there is no fear in him as regards to anything in this world. Kurute asmin antaram chet. However, when one accepts even a little of duality, he is destined to repeated transmigration, that is fearful existence. Atha tasya bhayam bhavet. So what is other than the self? What can be other than the self? Not self. What does not self constitute? What is the constitution of the not self according to the scriptures?
Mind. Body, mind, intellect.
Body, mind, intellect. So space, air, fire, water, earth, that is one set of five. Then five senses, that is the second set of five. Then the karmendriyas, speech, hands, legs, anus and genitals, that is the third set of five. Then the five pranas, prana, pan, vyan, udan, saman, this is the fourth set of five. Then mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. So all this is, if you want to go, you can go even further. Then there is avyakta. Avyakta is the unmanifest. That is not other than Maya or the Prakriti. So all this is constituted by not self. If you want to go even, break it up even further, the 14 lokas, heaven, hell, etc., etc. Everything is constituting not self. So anywhere along your journey, any one of these can become a source of misery. And you start thinking about it and you start worrying about it. Disease comes, you start worrying. Hunger comes, you start worrying. If you've got a thought fixation, depression, you start worrying. That why am I in this situation? Sometimes Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was stuck with Mother Kali's form. That became a source of problem for him. He wanted to experience the Advaita, formless reality, and she won't leave him. See? So we create our own miseries by getting identified with something or the other. So that's why the scriptures keep saying, if at all you want to contemplate on such thoughts which do not lead to any conclusion. Think of only those thoughts which do not lead to any conclusion. Infinity does not lead to any conclusion. Eternity does not lead to any conclusion. Most ancient does not lead to any conclusion. Birthless and deathless does not lead to any conclusion. Supporter of all does not lead to any conclusion. All pervasive does not lead to any conclusion. So just take one of these thoughts. Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Ekameva Dvitiya. Take any one of these and sit with it. What does it imply? What does that word imply? Infinity. Before you know, you are in meditation. If you don't go to sleep. Because if there is no conclusion, mind will come up with an idea, it is too difficult to work out. If it is too difficult to work out, mind will try to check out. And it will take you to sleep. It will stop functioning. It will go to, and you have to be very alert at that time, not to go to sleep. So in this way, Pratishtham vindate swasmin. So one who is established in one's own essential nature. What is that one's own essential nature? The Brahmatmaikya bodh, that one that the Atma is none other than the Paramatma, and that is one without a second, and there is no other truth other than that. That is my own essential nature. In this way, when one has, because see, if you recognize that you are the self, there is every possibility that you can be fall back into the world. It is possible because you have not realized that that self is infinite. You are only considering it to be in this body. You are recognized. For such a person, there is rebirth again. So that last bit also has to be taken care of. So where there is light, there cannot be any darkness, isn't it? Where there is light, there cannot be any darkness. Where there is knowledge, there cannot be ignorance. Similarly, where there is self-knowledge, there cannot be any fear born on account of the not-self. And in this way, asmin antaram kurute chet, but he who separates himself, meaning he who keeps himself, thinks himself to be a separate person, not the one, maintains duality, maintains sense of otherness, maintains the differences, maintains the individuality. For such a person, it is told that in his mind there will be precipitation of fear. Fear comes only because of sense of otherness. Just open it for her and lock it in. She might be hungry. It's okay. Push her. Push. So this sense of otherness is the Bheda Drishti, and if I am considering you to be separate to me, there is, right now it's okay, but if she comes with an injection and I don't like injection, and it's not a small one, it's the big one, Bheda Drishti, because she is other than me, the injection is other than me, there will be fear. Therefore, such a person who lives at the level of sense of otherness, who insists that individuality is valid, who insists that the differences are valid, gives reality to the differences, such a person only lives a fearful life. He gets entrapped by the sense of fear, continuously is looking over his shoulders. And therefore, the teacher now says how even the five gods, Vayu, Surya, etc., are in constant fear of the Parabrahma Paramatma because of this Bheda Darshanam. Who are these Vayu, Surya, Mrityu, etc., Indra, etc.? They are, if you want to take it as a story, as a person, if you consider them as a person, they are great persons who are living dharmic life. Therefore, they have attained such great heights of knowledge, but they haven't merged into the divine. Therefore, out of fear of their divine, they perform their duties correctly. They do not make any mistake. So here the verse says, Vayu Suryo Bhavi Indro, Vayu Suryo Vahni Indro, Mrityurjanmantarentaram, Mrityurjanmantarentaram, Krutva Dharmam Vijanantopi, Tva-dharmam vijanantopi asmad-bhitya charantihi, asmad-bhitya charantihi. So who are the Vayu, Surya, Agni, Indra, Mrityu. Huh? These are the gods that they are talking about. Although knowing dharma very well in their earlier lives, the gods, air, sun, fire, Indra, and death, have maintained a duality. Now, under the fear of Brahman, these gods are compelled to be engaged in their fields. They have got no other choice. They are holding on to their position, they are performing. The Lord Sun, he is all full of knowledge about everything. He is the teacher of Hanumanji. In the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, the Lord said, I gave this knowledge to the Sun. Even though he has the knowledge, still he did not use that knowledge to be one with the Paramatma. Still he maintains, I am the sun, I got more light, you are the moon, you survive only because of my light. And therefore, each one of them, the element air, the sun, the Indra, the fire, they do their job not because they want to do it, but out of the fear of the Paramatman. Take that subjectively. Sun is the right eye, moon is the left eye, Agni is the speech, Indra is the lord of the mind, then Mrityu is the concept of time. All of them are functioning. All these are functioning in our body because of whom? Are they independently existing? Can they exist? Can they function by themselves? No. They are functioning because of the conscious principle. And therefore, here it is being told that now under the fear of Brahman, these gods are compelled to be engaged in their fields. And in this way, here the teacher is saying, Swamiji is saying, Atma is used to bring to the cognition of the student isness and I-ness, and Brahman is used for the denial of otherness. When the difference between I, the Atman, and Brahman is removed, there is no more fear. Right now, when in the second verse it was told objective knowledge, then our knowledge of the self, and the third one was knowledge of the Aikya, the Brahman. So we think there are three. But what is the vision of the scriptures? That there is only one. That one alone seems to be as if expressing as many, isn't it? One is the water. It seems to be expressing as the ocean and the waves. Similarly, the Paramatma is one. It seems to be appearing as Shiva Shakti. It seems to be appearing as Ishwara Prakriti. And then that Ishwara Prakriti then expands, the Prakriti expands further, isn't it? But because this seeming expansion has taken place, has the one become many? No, it has not. So to bring to our cognition, who are steeped in a sense of otherness, who are insisting that I am an individual, this idea is brought to our cognition, the idea of the Atma, the idea of the Brahman, not to prove that Brahman is there, not to prove that the Atman is there, but to remove the sense of otherness that we insist on taking to be real. That is why. Very simply put, last week I concluded the class with saying, just like we see the differences in the body, but we have the experience of oneness. To that, at least to that extent you come, that you see the entire world, but consider it to be one. Consider that you are expressing through the entire creation, through the entire cosmos, through the entire universe.
Is it like the light passing through the prism and then...
No.
That is made up of...
Then light and prism are two separate things. Here there is no two separate. Everything is you alone. Right now, when we, in the first chapter or till in the previous chapters of Panchadashi, in the first 5 chapters, it was told there you could use the example of prism. So, and right now when we study Bhagavad Gita with various satsangs or initial understanding that mind is there, it is like a monkey, it is, you have to control it, you have to tether it, you have to train it, you have to single point it. Now we have gone beyond all that. Those were all beginning exercises. We are not taking mind to be a tool. Here in this chapter, you have to recognize that all this seeming multiplicity is nothing but Brahman alone. Is Brahman alone. So, the whole world of names and forms, the Atma, the individual self, and the totality, everything is one and the same. That I am.
Subtler than the space.
Of course, space is only the first aspect of Prakriti. See? So, even that space, we may use the word space, but the experience should be I am. I use the word right hand, but the experience, unspoken knowledge is I am expressing through that right hand. I may say that I am speaking, the speech is coming out of the mouth, but inside the knowledge is that that the speech cannot be other than me. See? So when this becomes so dense, means it becomes so solid knowledge within you that there is no doubt left about it. Then we are qualified to study these 5 chapters on Ananda. Because here the purpose is only expression of how Ananda expresses through our being. Here it is not that we have to reach Ananda. No, you are of that nature. So remember, don't forget the context. Context is Brahmanande Yogananda. So what is yoga? Union. Union of what? That the world, the Atma and the totality all are one. This is what we are coming to. That is Brahmananda. When we develop this vision that one alone is expressing as the individual self, is itself alone expressing as through all the, not as the individual, through the bodies, is alone expressing through all the matter. Then Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, that will start having some meaning to us in our life. In this way, those who have attained such siddhi, much siddhi as a result of their sadhana are great gods. Vayu Devta, Surya Devta, Agni Devta, Mrityu Devta, Indra Devta. Janmantare antaram dharmam krutva vijanantaha api. And because they have done so much sadhana and over their many lives, they have kept on building up their capacity to, and therefore, as a result of that, they have attained such great positions. But what is one thing lacking? They have not discovered their union with the infinite. They have not discovered that they are the one with the absolute reality. And in this way, asmat bhitya charantihi, therefore they continue to function, not out of joy, but out of fear. Why do we say they work out of fear? Do we have experience that they have been functioning out of fear? And when it comes to this point, that how can you say they are functioning out of fear? Immediately may become subjective. Sun, moon, fire. If something happens to the eyes, you are not able to see clearly. Immediately fear. At the time of death, things are going blurry, speech is not coming out, feeling very cold, the body starts becoming cold as the death is approaching. And that results in fear. Each one is striving, the breath wants to continue breathing, the eyes want to continue seeing. The speech is continuously saying, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. You see?
So, if the union has happened, then
Union has not happened. Union
if-
is the
if-
natural state.
Yes, if it's in union, then even the great sun, moon, they will not function. So what that means is like whatever doesn't function, that means that has attained the union.
Say that again.
Because
Whatever doesn't function has attained union means what?
these sun, moon, they are in function because they are in fear. Isn't it what we just
They are
said?
functioning in fear.
They are functioning in fear. But if they were not, if they were in union, they will not function. Is it?
They will still function.
Fear does.
And if there is union,
Hmm.
then the sense of otherness will go for them. Where there is oneness, there is no sense of otherness.
Yes.
Do you feel the sense of otherness, that your right hand is other than the left hand? No, everything is experienced as I only, no?
Yes. Yes.
So the tongue is bitten by the teeth. You don't
No.
become angry or miserable. The same teeth go and massage the tongue, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the result of a union. But from union, we have to understand all sense of otherness, all obsession about otherness, once and for all vanishes from our, because mind vanishes. Mind is the result of the sense of otherness, or vice versa.
But why, Swamiji, then this sun, moon, they are functioning out of fear? Why the scripture has to say that way?
You do it, find out subjectively, and that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Because it's
That may be at
related to
the
us.
physical way you are looking at it,
Yeah.
because there is a pralaya at the totality level,
Yeah.
as much as there is a pralaya at the individuality level.
Yeah.
So there is something called death. At the time of death, look at the people. Come to do the market research. Find out how they behave. A simple fact that if your eyes stop functioning, you become concerned that I am not able to see. You are concerned, you are afraid, how will I live my life without eyes if they go away?
But that's not the sun, though, Swami. It's
You know, that is your understanding, it is not the sun. My understanding is completely different. Scriptures say the outside sun subjectively is the right eye. So I am explaining to you from the Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik and Adhyatmik. 3 levels are there. So there is one macro, and that has to reflect in micro also. So the outside sun in this body is the right eye. The outside moon in this body is the left eye. The element fire that is pervading this earth or in this universe is the element of fire, which is the speech. And this way all gods that are there in our scriptures are represented in our body somewhere or the other. So that you have to understand.
And they are fearful of our consciousness, which is controlling everything.
So in this way, so the teacher, asmad bhitya charantihi, and therefore they carry out their functions out of the fear of someone higher, just like various ministers are functioning only because Prime Minister is there, otherwise they'll do their own bidding. All the employees, managers are functioning because the CEO is there. If there is no CEO, you look at your office. The moment CEO goes on holiday, everyone is doing what they want. They are not 100% on the job. But the moment Even news comes that the CEO has come back. Everyone starts behaving properly. Exactly the same way. What is that because of which all these Indra, Mrityu, Vayu, Agni, Surya, why are they functioning? Why are they behaving?
Because Brahma.
Because of the Paramatma.
Why not because of the law? Fair.
If they had experienced that, then they would have become one with him, no? If they had experienced that, they would have become one with him. See?
So in realized, if a person is realized, then they would all these senses would act as if out of love. Is that Swami?
Absolutely. And it's not, see, the mistake that people make is you are giving individuality to something that is not real. You are taking the standpoint of the sun, the moon. No, our goal is not to prove that they are. Don't try to prove their functioning. We are not here to prove that they are functioning or they are not functioning. We are here to see that Brahman is the reality. And if Brahman is the reality, all matter functions only because the conscious principle is there. It seems that the conscious principle is functioning through the matter. But this is how we are told. But when we come to this point of Anand Mimamsa, what we are doing now, here there is something else. A new shift has taken place, that the transcendental reality is and the immanent reality both are one. The conscious principle and the through which this conscious principle is functioning, they are both one and the same. But right now it seems they are separate. Right now if I tell you your body is nothing other than Brahman, will you accept? Will you accept? But that is the vision of our realized master. Why you will not accept? Because you have not just experienced, you have to drop the notion that you are the body. And therefore we said, from knowledge of the objective to the knowledge of the self, to the knowledge that this self within me, which I have recognized myself to be, is one without a second. So it may happen by grace in one click. It has happened to many Mahatmas. Nisargadatta Maharaj, it happened within 2 years.
With the dream analogy works, isn't it? I mean, even though in our dream we have a small part to play as well as a role, but when we wake up, we know the part played by me as well as all the characters created and the scenes, everything is me.
Everything is me. But you have to analyze that. When you start thinking, arey yaar, all the people in the dream, all the objects in the dream came out of me alone. The material that went into making the entire dream world was my mind. And the one who was experiencing the whole thing was also me only. Now you keep contemplating on that. Exactly like that, the Lord must also be looking at His creation. Everything is He alone. Again, we are not trying to prove the fear, we are not trying to prove the position of sun, moon, etc. We are trying to see that the Brahman is that one without a second reality, and that is our essential nature. And the reason, if we are experiencing fear, if we are experiencing coming and going, if we are experiencing reincarnation, if we are experiencing death and birth, if we are experiencing sense of otherness, if we are experiencing past and present and future, understand wherever I've just given you few options. You can keep going with these options. Wherever there is like and dislike, wherever there is judgment, wherever there is biasness, wherever there is a sense of difference, there will be fear. There will be fear. Even though you accept this whole body as yours, if one finger gets cut, you will have a fear.
If we have a boil, we'll have a fear, wondering it's cancerous or what.
Why? Yes, exactly. See? So this notion that there are many has to be replaced by the notion, it's not a notion, it is the reality that everything is one. If everything in one is one, then what will be your way of life then? How will you express in this world? Will you react to anything? Will you be afraid of anything? Will you want anything? Will you desire anything? Then what will you do?
We can do the play acting like we are doing roles.
But there is no we then. Then whatever is meant to happen, as long as this body is there, it will happen. But do we have the courage to come to that point? That let whatever is meant to happen, happen. I will just be in the remembrance of the divine. Do we have that courage? There also we are afraid. Who will pay the bills if I forget? Then I have to pay the fine. If I have to pay the fine, suppose for 2 years continuously, how much loss will be there? We get caught up in this only, in survival. For Brahman, is there any survival? He is the one alone. So that jump needs to be, and that jump will be possible only when we become convinced of something higher. We are still not convinced. We are still convinced that this world is real. Therefore, that jump is not taking place. That click is not taking place. So the teacher quotes another Shruti which specifically states that Brahman is Ananda Swarupa. Anandam Brahmano Vidwan, Anandam Brahmano Vidwan, Na bibheti kutaschana, Na bibheti kutaschana, Etameva tapen naisha, Etameva tape naisha, Chinta karmagni sambruta, Chinta karmagni sambruta. The knower of the bliss of Brahman is not afraid of anything or being. The worry born out of the fire of karma does not even inflict any pain to him. So what is that? This comes in, I think it comes in Taittiriya Upanishad. Anandam Brahmano Vidwan na bibheti kudaschana. So, Brahmanaha Anandam Vidwan Kutaschana na bibheti. He who has discovered or known Anandam as his essential nature, he is not afraid of anything, not even of death. He has nowhere to go or nowhere to come from. So why he has nowhere to go and nowhere to come? He is everything and everyone. So there is no urge. You watch yourself. If you go meet some people, are you interested in knowing what is his name, what is his profession, where is he, which state is he coming from, how many children he has or she has? If you are having this interest, you are an individual. Sense of otherness is there. Silence, if that person reveals, great. If he doesn't reveal, who cares? Even if he reveals, who cares? Because extra data that you are going to carry after once you ask those questions. See? Karmagni sambruta esha chinta etam eva na tapet. Therefore the anxiety is the reference to the fire of karma. Wherever there is karma, kriya means activity. Karma means the deed. The action that we have to do, the karmas that we have to do. And wherever you have to do, you start washing dishes also. You will start sweating after some time. Why? So that is the fire of karma. Wherever there is action, there is heat generated. Okay? There is heat generated. And that heat, that fire makes you restless. That makes you, how many times only I have to wash the dishes? Why I have to only cook? Why I have to only do the gardening? Why I have to only do the maintenance? Why I have to only earn the money in the family? These thoughts come to everyone, isn't it? And then you become restless. What is the way out of this? How can I find a way out? That also makes you restless. Because there is no solution for that. If you look for a solution in this world, there is no solution. And once you recognize directly that you are that one without a second principle, no solution is required.
So we don't have to initiate anything in our lives.
No.
We can't be passive all the time.
Don't live passively. Live passively with joy.
Yeah, but we have to sometimes, we have to initiate action.
As long as you say we have to, there is the problem.
Yeah, that's right.
That itch is there. Even if you stop doing everything, your natural personality will automatically prompt you to do something or the other. Don't identify with it. Don't let it. Whatever you have programmed, it has to work out. No,
Don't expect a result or something like that.
that is also there, but
Yeah. And not identifying with them. I mean,
not identifying with that karma is important.
because for us,
So
we
not
have to
identifying
we
with
have
the
to
karma
cope.
means you have switched the fan off, but the momentum of the fan is still going on till it comes to stop. But while it is going on, suddenly we connect with it again with that movement, which means you have switched on the connection. You have got identified with it. So even more karma will be happening then. So for a sustained period of time, that disconnect has to be there with all activity. Physical, mental. But we start having doubt somewhere. But that is the way mind sabotages the whole thing. The anxiety is born out of two things. Why did I not do the right thing? Why did I commit this wrong with regards to the past and the present? Or both are past only. The guilts. Guilts are of the past, anxieties are of the future. What if I don't get the result of this action? What if the investment that I put in becomes zero or does not give me the return? What if I buy $1 million property and in next year it is only 800,000? What will I do? Where will I go? How will I survive? Anxiety. And in your past, whatever things you have beaten someone, you have abused someone, you have done misappropriated someone, and all those things come to haunt you in the present moment.
But when the future becomes the present, when it actually happens, we don't have to be anxious.
Whatever is meant to happen will happen. Anxiety is not when that future becomes the present. Anxiety is in the present you are imagining the future. When the future becomes the present, then you will be thinking about the future of that. Disillusioned people do that, or common man does that. Here we are talking about Brahmananda. We are not talking about the joy gained through actions. We are not talking about the joy gained through imaginations. We are not talking about the joy gained through meditation. No. We are going beyond everything. Not even meditation. But the foundation is being laid that this joy is not through karma. You can never gain this joy, because karma will lead to another karma, will lead to another desire.
Swamiji, where does it come from, the joy when you do the meditation?
You tell me. You are doing meditation.
I thought it's Anand, the one talking about Anandamaya Ghosh.
No. We have to go beyond Anandamaya Kosh also. Anandamaya Kosh joy is that which comes and goes. So the joy of the sleep is more potent than the joy you have experienced in the daytime. The joy of eating the food, joy of seeing a beautiful sunset or a beautiful person, the joy of seeing a beautiful forest, they are all temporary joys. So also sleep is a temporary joy. Even though it's so deep, it rejuvenates you completely for the next day, but it is still temporary. So we are not talking about that joy. So when you are on the seat of meditation and you are experiencing the joy, but when you finish meditation, if that joy goes away, we are not talking about that joy. Because it has come and it has gone. We are talking about the joy of the self, which is permanent. So have the courage to discard even that joy. Those who follow the Kundalini Marg and Kriya Marg, they get so much joy on the seat of meditation that they writhe, their body shakes and they go into ecstasy. But all that has to be rejected if you want to come to the real joy, which is your nature, essential nature. Got it? No?
It's another definition of meditation is the sleeping consciously, isn't it? Is it? So
Yes, you can say that, but your question was about Anand. Is it from the causal body? No, it is not from this joy that we are talking about is not from the causal body. It's not from the unmanifest. Causal body is to be discarded. Okay. In this way, the man of wisdom has no regrets. He has gone beyond all karma anushtan. But then we see great masters, Shankaracharya, etc. Even today, they are great realized masters, but they still do the pujas, they still do the... They were born, it has got so entrenched in them that now that fan is coming to a close. So it will only produce whatever momentum it began with, that alone, that data which prompted it into action, that data alone will express out. Ammachi will continue again till the end, because that's the data that has gone into her. That's the inspiration that is keeping that body moving. Hanumanji will keep running around the world, because that is the inspiration, that is the data in there, in that mind. Sun will keep shining. It cannot do anything else till it comes to a close. Similarly, in great masters who are living on this earth, realized while living, we see they also keep performing certain actions, but those are not voluntary actions. They are not voluntary actions. Observe them closely. Listen to them carefully. It's just happening to them. The mirror does nothing, yet it reflects everything, isn't it? Is reflection an action? Is reflection an activity? Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way are the masters. Their whole activity is just a reflection of totality expressing through them. That's it. That papa and punya born out of the karma have no influence on the man of wisdom who has discovered his Atma Swarupa to be Brahman, is said in the next sloka. Evam vidvan karmani dve, evam vidvan karmani dve, hitvatmanam smaret sada, hitvatmanam smaret sada, krute cha karmani swatma, krute cha karmani swatma, रूपेणैवैष पश्यति, रूपेणैवैष पश्यति. In this way, the wise one who has known the blissful self, having abandoned both good and bad karmas, revels always in the self, and he thereafter sees all the good and the bad action as his own self. There is one example. As long as the vomit is inside, aren't you considering it to be your own self? As long as the fecal matter is carried within the definition of I, called the body, aren't you considering it to be your own self? Only when the sense of otherness comes, then you yuck, and then you run away, you want to clean up, you want to, isn't it? Exactly the same way. Here it is told, evam vidwan dve karmani hitva sada atmanam smaret. In this way, he who has discovered everything to be his own essential nature, who sees the whole world as nothing but an expression of himself. Come to this. It's not very difficult. It is not very difficult. How do you know the whole world? How do you know the whole world?
Through the mind.
Through your senses, and your senses are functioning because of your mind. Isn't it? I know Chitra because Chitra word and form are forming in my mind. Lalita, same thing. Renuka, same thing. Chair, same thing. Camera, same thing. Isn't it? And who is knowing that these thoughts are appearing in the mind? I. There's no, forget Brahman. I only. First stage is I. When you come to Brahman, there is no question of knowing. There is only question of being. There is no sense of otherness from Brahman's standpoint. In between this, there is a stage called witnessing. From when you wean yourself away from the world, from the mind, an interim stage comes that I am the witness of the world. Why? Because your attention is on the world. But when your attention, you make a U-turn and shift the attention to the self, then even the awareness of the world also goes away. Then there is no, there is no possibility of being a witness. Because if you say witness, you have to witness of something, isn't it? So still duality is maintained. It's an interim stage, it is good, but it is not the ultimate. It is a beginning. So we don't want to be just the witness, we want to go further. Otherwise, I am aware of the world, I am alert about the world, I am witnessing the world. But what next? Then what next? You are witnessing, but not recognizing the self. Some moment will come and you will get again identified with the world as long as you are looking at the world, isn't it? Because if some emotion comes in the mind which is so strong, your witnessing will get diluted. Anger comes, your witnessing will get diluted if you are not steady in it. So our attempt is not just to be witness. Become a witness, immediately shift the attention. Who is this witnessing self? Who am I? And bring a close to that witnessing. But here we are going one step further. That once we have recognized that we are the self, this self and the absolute self are one and the same. The self, Atma and the Paramatma are one and the same. They are not one per person. It is like wave recognizing that I am the ocean. See? But it is bypassing the ocean. It has the choice. The wave has two choices. Either it can say, I am the ocean, or it can say, I want to be one with the waters. Ocean will be the God principle, waters will be the Paramatma. So where it's putting its attention, if it goes to one God, then other gods will demand attention. So it goes to water. Vedanta is a process, is a state of being where you straight away go to the water. It's that water supports all the oceans and all the waves without becoming any ocean or wave. So that's our stage. That's where we want to get. That is our reality. That we are that absolute Paramatma who supports the entire creation or creations without having become it. So who is this Vidwan? The one who sees the world as nothing except as existing as in Dvandva, the pair of opposites, and Dvaita. Such a Vidwan is not carried away by the two types of karma, that is Pap and Punya. He is ever established in the self. What will Punya bring you in your life? No. Punya is merits. What will it bring in your life? Joys. And what will Papa bring in your life? Sorrow. So understand, whatever Papa, joys and sorrows you are experiencing in your life is because of the Papa and Punya. When Punya expresses itself, you become joyful, you become ecstatic. Yahoo! I nailed it. I have become successful. I got the job. I got passed through year 12 or got my, that so many people came to my lectures. It's happiness. And how much dakshina did we collect? That's joy. And that same person, next time you go, 10 people. What happened? You'll take to everyone to task. Why? Because suddenly Papa was fructifying in his life. See? And as long as we get caught up in this, then it's a self-feeding cycle. You become joyful or sorrowful, it keeps feeding itself. But who is a wise man? First stage, wise man is he who recognizes that this pairs of opposites, they are existing mutually. One cannot exist without the other. Joy cannot express without sorrow. Sorrow cannot express without joy. Light cannot express without dark. Dark cannot express without light. But what do we want? Na tatra suryo bhati. We want light. We don't want to take darkness. Asato tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. So we want to remove the darkness and we want light. Wise man does not get caught up in tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. He knows both the light and the darkness express. I alone am expressing through both. Both are, that is one way of looking at it. Both are mutually dependent. I am other than them. And therefore, when there is light, I should not be happy. When there is darkness, I should not be sorrow, become miserable. See? But this preparation is required mentally. You have to work on your mind in this way. The way scriptures are guiding us. But then again we fall back into default. You have to become convinced that enough. So, first stage is that he does not get disturbed by Papa Punya, which result in joys and sorrows. This is the first stage. And that is what is told in yoga also. Live a life in such a manner, yama niyama, that you do not disturb the world, you do not get disturbed by the world. Isn't it? What is the second stage? Niyama. Live such a lifestyle that you do not become a disturbance to yourself. When do you become a disturbance to yourself? When your mental joys and sorrows start disturbing you. First the worldly objects were disturbing you, now your own mind is disturbing you. So stop becoming miserable or joyful on account of your own mind, on account of your own habits. See? Same thing it is telling. So second stage is, first stage was that the wise man is seeing that all the pairs of opposites are existing mutually, they cannot exist independently, and by identifying them, I am giving fuel to them, and that cycle will continue forever. Second stage, having separated himself from joys and sorrows, which is nothing but the mind, then recognizing that I alone am expressing through, in and through, all the joys and sorrows. Without me, joys and sorrows cannot express themselves. Without me, dark and light cannot express itself. Without me, up and down cannot express itself. Without me, the past and future cannot express themselves. See, it's a sudden shift. So you are taking yourself to be the substratum and watching that all these opposites which are appearing in the mind as past, future, up, down, east, west, good, bad, joy, sorrows, all of them are expressing because you are there. Now where is your attention? Not on the joys and sorrows, but your attention is on the substratum in presence of whom these things are coming and going. See, this is the second stage. This is not how it is given here, but I am explaining. See? So that brings you to the second stage which was given in the second verse. You come to the Atma. From the objective world, you come to the Atma. Now you have come to the Atma. When you recognize, when your attention is on your state of being, and it is not a thought, you just know. You know that you are, and without you, without your presence, no thought can come and go. And that is what is happening. But you are not alert about it, that's all. It is happening even right now. No thought can pass through your mind without your presence. Even right now. See? And in the third stage, that this one who I am, now this is the stage. How do you convert it into Brahmatmaikya Bodh? That this Atma that I am is one without a second. How? That is the, you have to think that everything is one, but that revelation will come by grace. And in this way, Eshaha krute karmani cha atma rupena eva pashyati. Therefore, for him, papa, punya, birth, death, gain, loss are nothing but the self. Just like Lord says, the entire world, the whole world exists in me. I exist in the whole, expressed through the whole world. Then he says, but neither the world exists in me, nor do I express, I'm independent of it. So he recognizes at one level, the world is in me. At another level, I am alone expressing through the whole world. Because where is the attention? On the world. See? And then the third, but neither I express through the world, nor the world is in me. I am independent. I am eternal. 9th chapter it comes of Bhagavad Gita. See? So while supporting the coming and going of the world, yet he is transcendental, yet he is independent of it. Take your example. Are you not, is the woman not the supporter of the mother, the daughter, the wife? Do these mother, daughter, wife come and go on a daily basis? On a moment-to-moment basis? You are not continuously functioning as all the three. At any given moment you can only function as one. But you know that you are a woman. So what will be your statement? It will be like 9th chapter Bhagavad Gita. All the wives, the wife, the mother, the daughter, they are in me. I am in the mother, daughter and wife. Yet I am transcendental to all the three. Isn't it? Apply it subjectively in this way. And yet you know that wife, daughter and mother, they are not other than you. You alone are everything. All the roles that you play in your daily life, you alone are, isn't it? When you know that you are alone expressing through all the roles, but you are established in your independent self as the woman, will you get caught up in any role? Then you will play the role. Whatever that situation demands, that role will automatically express itself. But you will not come down from your absoluteness, from your womanhood. Exactly the same way. One who is established in Brahman, he does not come down from that point. For the rest of the world, still they see the activity going on, they see the comings and goings and food and the body moving, but he is established in that oneness. Such a person, this is the meditation of the Atman to be Brahma Swarupa. Nothing is denied or rejected. So such a person, as we keep repeating often, he accepts everything, he rejects nothing, he retains nothing. He becomes like a mirror. Mirror accepts everything, rejects nothing, retains nothing. This is an interim stage, huh? If you keep practicing this, the Brahmatmic, the beingness will click one day. Because right now we are always into accepting or rejecting and retaining to all the time. Memories. Even meditation we want to repeat again next day. That yesterday was a fantastic one, let me get back into the same state again. It is not possible. You are fooling yourself. See? Now the student asks another question. He is listening very intently like you all are. But he says, it is said in the scriptures that one has perforce to go through the prarabdha, sanchita and agami karma before getting liberated. So how is it possible that the man of wisdom is untouched by his karma and karma phala? Very simply put, he has realized himself. Wise man is he who has realized himself. And if you have realized yourself, if the wave has come to recognize that it is water, then all the past, future challenges, competition, comparisons of the wave, will they be still valid? No. Because wave is gone. Now he has recognized, I am the water. He's got the total vision now, or the absolute vision. From absolute vision, there is no totality, no individuality. Yet for an outside person, that absolute is supporting the total and the individual. That water is supporting the oceans and the innumerable waves. For an outside person, but ask the water, from his point of view, there is no ocean and there is no waves. That becomes the disposition of a realized master, of a wise person. And therefore, when this happens, at that moment it is said that such a person has broken the knot of ignorance. And what is that is told here. This quotation comes from the Mundaka Upanishad. Very, very famous. What is the time? Very, very famous verse from Mundaka Upanishad. Bhedyate hridaya granthihi छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि तस्मिन् दृष्टे परावरे. When the wise man, the knower of Brahman, comes to know the unmanifest and the manifest aspect of the self, the knots of the heart are cut asunder, all his doubts are destroyed, and all his karmas and their results are nullified. What does this mean? Just in simple words, when it says, comes to know the unmanifest and the manifest aspect of the self. What does it mean? Think. Comes to know the unmanifest and the manifest aspect of the self. Meaning that this self alone is expressing as the conscious principle, and this self alone is expressing as the matter. Understand consciousness, what we call I am the consciousness, I am the consciousness, we are just talking about the energy, the witness. Self is not a concept of the mind. It is your reality. You are that. Reality is not dependent on a thought in the mind. You may use the word self, but in whose presence this word is being spoken of. That is the reality. See? When you come to realize that this self that I am essentially alone is expressing as the conscious principle and the Chidabhasa, and is alone expressing as the matter. Put it simply, the aham vritti and the idam vritti. The self alone is expressing as I thought, the conscious principle, the Chidabhas, and it alone is expressing as the thatness. Thatness, Prakriti, matter, I-ness, the I thought. So this self alone has become two. Just like Brahman as if became Ishvara and Prakriti, exactly the same way. When I come to recognize myself as the absolute, or as the absolute self, not by thinking, just being, then I see the whole game unfolding. This is called the Leela. How in the I and the that, and the I remains the same, and the that keeps changing, and without the I, the that has got no meaning. Without the that, I has got no meaning. And this game is going on, and suddenly the whole secret of the universe is at your fingertips.
Prakriti and Purusha are the same.
Because then, exactly, Prakriti and Purusha are same. Ishvara knows that. Shiva knows that. Vishnu knows that. See? Purusha and Prakriti, I alone am expressing as the Purusha and Prakriti. So now what is his disposition? That the conscious principle also I am, and the matter principle also I am. That means the transcendental aspect also I am, and the immanent aspect also I am. The unmanifest, which is the conscious principle also I am, and the manifest also I am. Now, when he takes this position, when this clicks to him, it is a click. When it clicks as a result of your meditation, contemplation, studying the scriptures, grace, all that put together, eventually grace only. Suddenly, at that moment, he is said to be free of all miseries. Why? There is no question of fall for that person anymore.
He's not identified with the body.
Anything. Because now, this is the Brahmatmaikya Bodh. Now he is seeing everything and every being as the self. This is a language. From water's point of view, there is no every ocean and every wave. But if it has to speak, it will speak in this manner. See? And such a person, when the wise man, the knower of Brahman, comes to know the unmanifest and the manifest aspect of the self, the knots of the heart are cut asunder. And what are the knots? Avidya kama karma. Ignorance. What about ignorance about what? About
The oneness.
about your own essential nature. And that ignorance about your essential nature, which is Ananda Swarup, which is all knowing, it is ever existing. Ignorance about that brings about a desire to be permanent, to be permanently happy. And that desire then prompts you into activity. Now such a person has become free of, he has cut through the knot. So which means he is neither ignorant, and therefore it's the children of ignorance, kama and karma, desire and action, they have become important. Yet we see realized masters functioning that way, but they are not tainted by that involuntary desire or the action that is taking place through their bodies, because their attention is on the supreme being that they are essentially. We'll stop here, we'll meditate for 5 minutes, and we'll continue from this, looking into this verse even more deeply next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So just take that position and make an attempt to see that everything is your expression alone.